What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Meepo Hurricane. I'm going to be sharing with you my experiences over the last year of owning and riding this awesome board. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about quality first, because quality is something you get with these Meepo Hurricane boards. You get quality and value, in my opinion. Now, I've taken this board all from the streets to the dirty trails, wet puddles. My board was even ran over by a car, and I got, luckily, knock on wood, I just had to change out my front wheels and the front trucks. But you know, I haven't had any flats, no malfunctioning of any kind, no rust buildup. The remote has been pretty good, reliable, no issues with the remote. I have nothing but mostly positive things to say about my experience with the Meepo Hurricane. I just have two things to nitpick about the board, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Let me just start off by saying that I purchased this board last winter, and I paid the $1,800 price tag. But they are now available for several $100s less, and offer some cool options for a limited time, I believe. I still think it's worth the $1,800, especially if you compare it to other boards like the Evolve Hadian and the One Wheel GT, both being pricier alternatives at that price point. I do see my One Wheel GT as a toy compared to this Meepo Hurricane board. The board has the fun of an old man's toy, plus utility to run errands and the power to keep up with local traffic. I'll never recommend riding in traffic unless you're on a non-busy road. I personally prefer using the bike lanes and keeping away from drivers as much as possible, because I've had a bunch of incidents where the driver just doesn't see me, or they don't know what to do when they see me, or they didn't anticipate how fast I was traveling, so they just dart through a stop sign when you have the right of way. You know, when I'm riding a PEV, I just assume I never ever have the right of way. Not with cars, not with bicycles, not with people, not with anything. I've become a defensive rider that doesn't take any car for granted, any vehicle for granted that they will see me. I expect every driver to not see me. I mean, it's an anxious way to ride, but hey, I live in New York. We have the worst drivers around here. They're either distracted by their phones, their kids, or they're eating while they're driving, or anything else but the road. I'm a 45-year-old rider that takes a long time to heal if I go down. So, you know, I don't want to do it, you know. And speaking of going down, I have 400 miles ridden on the board. I've never had an accident where I fell off the Hurricane, knock on wood. But in contrast, I've spilled hard at least 6 times between my One Wheel XR and GT. The Meepo Hurricane is just a more trustworthy PEV as far as keeping you safer. That's just a fact. It's faster and safer at the same time. Now, I like to cruise around 23 to 28 miles an hour, something that my expensive One Wheel GT can't do. Not even close. I can't tell you what wheels to get because that's just personal opinion. I prefer rubber and air with my wheels. That's just me. You may like traditional skateboard wheels. I like to go fast, and with my personal experiences, I've tried every wheel under the sun for this board. The Cyclone wheels are my favorite. They are my favorite for predictability, for the grip, for the high speed, and for absorbing road vibrations, and also surviving potholes and large bumps. The Cyclone wheels are unmatched so far, in my opinion. I ran over unavoidable shards of glass, rocks, holes. And I've been lucky so far, I guess, because I haven't had to deal with any flats, which is a good thing, because replacing the rear wheel requires a level of mechanical skill. But the new version of Cyclone wheels are even better, and they're easier to swap out, which leads me to believe that Meepo may phase out the Cyclones that I have equipped on my board for the improved tubeless and gear design. Now, I wanted to bring up the double kingpin trucks the Meepo Hurricane has. I hear riders say or comment on YouTube videos all the time that double kingpin trucks suck, or that they're unstable. I guess that's also just personal opinion, because I do not think that they suck. When you have a longboard this big, you're going to want to have all the agility or maneuverability that you can get. And I think that the double kingpin gives you more carving ability than Meepo Mini 2 with their shredder trucks. I mean, I own both boards to attest to this. I mean, again, this is personal opinion. I also think a rider's skill is more important than what type of trucks you have. People, you know, buy a board all the time, start flying around at 30 miles per hour before they even understand the board fully, until they wipe out, and then they, blame the truck design. When I first started getting confident, I realized that the board would get a little slippery at speeds greater than, 23 miles an hour. What I did was, I didn't blame the trucks. I did a little research, and some other skaters in our, YouTube community just told me to change out my bushings, So I took that advice. I installed riptide bushings with a set designed for my weight, and I immediately noticed the biggest difference ever. The board became more agile with increased stability. If you're interested in buying a Meepo board, I highly suggest spending a little extra money and getting the bushing upgrade. My board has an amazing feel with the bushing upgrade. I can't stress that enough. It's not your trucks. Change the bushings first before you start blaming the trucks. Now let's talk about my favorite speed mode to ride the Hurricane in. I like to ride in Speed 3 because the power delivery is smoother with minimal jerking of thrust when you roll down on that accelerator. Speed 3 will get you to your top speed a lot smoother than Speed 4, so I tend to use Speed 3 regularly over Speed 4, which jerks you around. I mean, you can be cruising at around 15 miles an hour in Speed 4, then hit that accelerator, and you'll still get some torque jerk like you would at low speeds, which can make you feel a little uncomfortable sometimes when you're riding. I like to use Speed 4 more often when I'm off-roading on like bike trails. Speed 4 is just a jerkier version of Speed 3 in my opinion. I prefer a smooth, rapid delivery when standing on a skateboard as opposed to the jerking around like someone that sucks at driving stick shift, Now finally, let's talk about some improvements that Meepo can make for the next generation Hurricane. It's going to have to deliver the power smoother and possibly offer better bushings out the box. Adding some headlights too while we're at it would be nice. And I'd also like to say that the board can use more ground clearance, like another inch or so would be appreciated. I can't even hop off some of the smallest curbs in my neighborhood without scratching up that beautiful carbon fiber underneath. And lastly, one last upgrade for our next generation board. The remote can use an overhaul, adding more quality and a better screen, maybe a color screen, maybe phone app compatibility. It'll be interesting to see where the e-skate industry goes as far as innovation going forward. It's a great hobby to get into, very rewarding as far as mental health and physical fitness. I've lost 30 pounds since I started e-skate riding almost 2 years ago. I've made some local friends that share the same passion. It's great to get out of the house, away from the grind, and hit that fresh, open air. I feel so free when I ride. No sitting in traffic, no seatbelts, no gasoline emissions. I love it as much as I enjoy playing video games. And at my age, if you told me I had to give up one of them, I'd be forced to make a very tough decision. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little 1-year review video. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button for more video game and skating content. Thank you all for watching, and see you on the next one. Peace out.